And we are live. We are live. We are live. Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Rick Ramirez. I'm also known as Rick's 2 Cents. Thank you for joining our live today for Shock Top Live with my fellow co-host Steve from Steve Makes Everything.
Hey, y'all.
And Roger from Roger Shop.
Howdy, howdy.
Special thanks for Roger for actually joining us from Mexico while he's on vacation. Dedication.
It's just trying to make us feel bad.
Yeah. Hold on. Yep. So very, very cool. I see some people already jumped into live. Aloha from Hawaii, everyone. Hello. Please smash that like button, everyone. Yes, please do us a favor and smash that like button. And if you're not already a subscriber, do subscribe. Hey, guys, so Steve and Roger, I want to show you something. If you look on the right-hand side, you see all the comments, right? If you put your cursor over, notice how it shows like a star.
Yeah.
So if you were to star it, now at the top, if you click on it says live and starred, then we can cue the questions.
Oh, okay, cool.
Pretty cool, right?
You're trying to sort out the havoc that I've come to appreciate.
Well, no, so it's so it's cool to share comments, but if we want to make sure, because a lot of times we're clicking, you're clicking, and we're missing questions.
Yeah, I know.
If we just want to make sure that we're not missing questions, that's just the way.
So
thank you, StreamYard, for your Saturday morning one-on-ones, I guess I should say, to give me some pointers and give us some tips. Another thing you're actually gonna see is at one point in time we shared this duck.
The duck. Oh yes.
Right. Powered by StreamYard. So what I found out is this will actually support GIFs. So I'm going to take each one of our logos. So as we're playing, it's just going to go boop.
Oh, I can send you the animated one that I use in videos.
Yeah, well, it's going to be all three of ours put together in one GIF.
Oh, a single?
So it just rotates between all three logos. I thought it'd be cool.
Why
I don't know.
not?
Maybe it'd be annoying and give somebody a seizure or something. But
some kind of seizure.
Look at Doug. Good evening, y'all, from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Hit that like button earlier. Our winner from last week's live, winning the laser engraver. Thank you, Doug. Thank you for joining.
Doug's been watching a few of my videos this week.
Yep.
I'm okay with that.
From Westville, Ohio.
Hey, Jack.
Yeah, so any special plans while you're out there in Mexico, Roger?
Just hanging out on the beach. That's relaxing, and my bad habit
where you're at, or no?
I am in Playa del Carmen, Mexico, at a place called Zamana, which is a private resort, I guess you could call it, where all the condos are owned by private people, and then you rent them. And we are actually kind of looking around at possibly buying one of them, since we spent so much time down here.
Yeah.
And if nobody knows what Playa del Carmen, Mexico is, it is south of Cancun.
Yeah, I've stood there like 3-4 times. Yeah, I've stood there 3-4 times.
Right across the bay from us out here is Cozumel, the island of Cozumel. So we're all on Quintana Roo.
So are you officially part-time Mexican then?
Well, no, I don't have the dual citizenship, but
you're an honorary Mexican. You're part-time Mexican.
Yeah, as soon as I start talking in Spanish, you know I'm a gringo. So.
4 or 5 years later, everybody speaks Spanish. You're all good. Yeah. So, anybody got any questions? Anything they want us to discuss to go over? Let us know. That's what we're here for. Live questions answered, of course.
So I mentioned last week that I might buy a new camera. Well, I pulled the trigger on that. So there's close to $5,000 I'm not going to get back. Well, by the time you buy the body and the lens, right? Like an F3, like the Sony F3 that I have, the body is the price of this new camera I bought. And then you buy a $1,400-$1,500 lens to put on it, cinema lens.
Oh, so. Rick said Mount Valley, Washington Valley is going to enjoy your jack-o'-lanterns if you don't mind. Speaking of, I actually...
There it is. No, you're not going to sleep tonight.
And then this is my son's favorite.
See, that one looks happy.
So. And those are made out of fence pickets. So I have a couple different designs, but I'm producing them or creating them in big batches as people are ordering certain ones. But eventually, before obviously Halloween, I'm gonna have them all made, and I'm gonna try. And this is my first time putting my woodworking on Etsy, so we'll see what happens. Prior to that, I've only ever sold locally on Facebook. I mean, for the most part, on Facebook, anything I put is gone in 3 days. I've never had it longer than 3 days. So we'll see. My goal is to sell 200, which is like $7,000 worth. So we'll see if I can make that happen. I was born and raised in Phoenix, Arizona, so I'm also honorary Mexican.
Yeah, the big Santa Claus beard there in his photo really makes him look Mexican.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks. Yep. You know, I have to remind my wife, because my wife's French Canadian. You gotta watch those Canadians sometimes. You know, they're crazy. But shifty, yeah. But I have to remind her sometimes because she's around Mexicans so much. She says something, I'm like, hey. Like, you know, you were gonna think you're racist, you know, because she just says stuff because she's just so used to being around Mexicans. It doesn't, you know. Like, hey, we're in Walmart, man. Like, somebody, you know, you're getting a fight. But that's cool. So you got a ton of videos to coming, huh?
I do, yeah. So somebody was asking me about the Acmer P3. Well, mine finally arrived, and it is probably the nicest laser I've tested in recent times. Anyway, it is pretty spectacular, actually, all things considered.
So I did like an unboxing video on the Longerview one, but I never posted it. And then I just did a couple shorts saying like behind the scenes that it's coming. And people were asking me like, yo, man, how come you haven't posted any videos? And I'll be honest, like, I think it's the laser I've hated the most and liked the most in the same sentence. And the reason that I'm saying that is like right out of box, like I was having all kinds of problems, like giving errors. And you guys were telling me it's probably limit switches. But, you know, I have to like home it like 3 times. And then sometimes it would just start moving and then just, please rehome. You know, you're like, what? You know, and I'm like, but the power is like phenomenal. But in a Tesla V35, making these, this is a cedar fence picket, you know, I'd have to do 5 passes. On the Longerview one, I did 1 pass.
So 40 watt you have?
Yeah, and then the only it's a 40 watt. And then the only reason I did 2 passes was because, as we were talking before the live, we've been getting a ton of rain. So I bought these cedar picket fences from Menards, and they've been sitting outside. So they have definitely a high moisture content. So there were certain areas that on 1 pass it just wasn't going all the way through, and I had to like force it. So I just decided I'm just going to do 2 just to be safe. But if you think about that, like 5 passes versus 2 passes when you're making 200. That's a lot of time.
Yeah, it's big time saver.
Yeah, so
it can take twice as long, in fact.
Longer than twice as long, but yeah, so you know, it was pretty nice. So that's what I said. I do like it. I did see a lot of people saying too that like when I made the grid, I noticed right away in the MDF how it was leaving like almost like char marks or like, and I was kind of thinking too, is it coming out of the wood? But I did some other tests and some wood, and I think just the air assist. I'm not 100% sold on that compressor, the pump.
No, not the one that comes with it.
Yeah, the stock one is kind of
It's kind of like a small aquarium pump, really.
Yeah, so I have like a big aquarium pump. It was for my saltwater tank. I might just plug it up and good to go, you know. try that and see how that works out. But yeah.
Aquarium pumps, those pumps are fairly cheap here because pot's legal here, so lots of people have hydroponic gardens.
Yeah.
So
that's why I said
it's
probably I was definitely impressed with the power, but I think the limit switches was kind of like wah wah wah, and then the just the underperformance on the compressor, but the laser itself, the power itself is like, I guess I'll deal with the headache. But I was so busy when I received it, I just didn't have time to dig into it and figure it out. I just had to put it aside because I was too busy to like mess with it,
Yeah, I mean, you work the bugs out, but it's a nice laser. So speaking of pumps on this P3, I turned it on and the pump was running. It is practically silent, the air pump. Like I was amazed. Of course, then they have an exhaust fan out the back of the case that's like a jet, so it wouldn't matter if the air pump made noise or not.
Any thoughts on making paint or spray on glass for etching? Roger, you've done that, right?
Well, if you have the ability to spray it, the water-based
tempura.
Yeah, tempura paint is ideal. If you have an airbrush to spray that on, you try to brush it on and get it even and no streaks in it. It's almost impossible. But yeah, that tempura. Then when you're done etching, just wash it off the water.
Yeah, it's still the best paint that I found for doing that. Somebody in a comment in one of my videos mentioned blackboard black paint, which also is water soluble. It's the stuff that they use on sandwich boards and bars and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like a half gallon of it is like $20, whereas tempura paint is dirt cheap, right? So
you can find that at Dollar Tree.
Yeah.
And then use only your hands to wash it off, right? Don't use anything abrasive, or you're gonna have all these scratches all over the glass.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, my answer to engraving glass is, if that's what you're going to do, buy a CO2 laser.
Or a UV laser.
Oh, sure. if money is no object, sell the Ferrari and buy a UV laser.
But I'm just saying, like, it's uniquely for glass, right? Like,
yes,
you can pound them out. What do you say?
Steven asked this last week and we didn't answer his question.
Laser.
I have not.
I haven't either. I mean, I've tried some kinds of foil. They weren't specifically laser foil. Most CO2 or most diode lasers will cut thin metal sheet anyway, so it should work. Foil tends to be like 1 thou thick, so it's pretty easy to cut.
What are you trying to do? Some gold leafing?
Yeah. Well, that's what I do with my gold bullion.
I like gold leafing.
I keep mine in the safe.
No, I think gold leafing looks badass.
Yeah.
I have to go grab this sign to show you guys some gold leafing I did. You're gonna laugh so hard. Let me go grab this since you brought it up.
It's just like a kindergarten project.
You're gonna laugh really hard.
Cut and paste. Adding color.
Oh, that's something new to me.
Yeah, are you cutting like greeting cards or something, and you're just using that to perk them up?
It's been sitting. Let me dust it off really quick. Roger, you may like this.
Papa. Oh, what's wrong with that?
It's on. I just cut it on the 45 so you can slam it in the ground. But I actually had someone request for me to make it, and then I ended up making, I think, like 10 of them. because the person that asked me to make it shared it on Facebook, and then all her friends ordered them. So it was kind of funny.
Did you hand cut all of that?
Yeah.
Oh, that seems like an awful lot of work to do by hand.
Yeah. Well, I have a here it is. I have a 54-inch rolling vinyl platter.
Oh yeah, okay.
So that's what I used. That's what I did it with. Yep.
So laser foil on wood.
Yeah. And then I sealed over the top of it. So I made that probably 4 or 5 years ago. And I saw pictures this year with I bought it in front of their still sit. Good weather. Nice.
If I had to do a sign like that, I'm afraid I would use like Lamicoid material or something. And just so the nice thing about Lamicoid material is if you have a diode laser, you can just crank the power to it, because as soon as it burns through the coating and hits the white, it just stops.
Nice. Yeah, no, I that's 3/4 inch plywood, and I just painted with exterior paint and then like cleared the hell out of it. I sprayed it, with an air gun. Oops. But
we're doing it again. I'm doing it.
You guys are very, very inspirational, educational. Thank you for providing your experience and knowledge. I've subscribed to you all. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Brian.
Yeah. So, Brian, where are you joining us from, if you don't mind me asking? What's craziest too is that a lot of these manufacturers now, they're paying attention to these lives. Our podcast is doing all right. But I just want to kind of put it out there too, is that when the live is live, we have a certain audience, right? But once it actually is posted, when you look at the views, that's not the views while we were live. That's the views after the fact.
In total, yeah.
Posted. So yeah. So it can be a little misleading when they say, well, how many people are attending these? It could be a larger audience. Ohio. Nice one. South Bend, Indiana. You're right around the corner from us. We're in Illinois, Roger and I. I'm in Oswego, Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roger doesn't like saying where he's at because then people's trying to hang out with him on his boat all the time.
There's been a couple people on the lives here that know where my shop is because they've been there.
It was crazy when they kind of called out where your house was. I was like, that was not kind of cool.
Yeah, I remember that. I don't want that to be common knowledge, but there's a couple local people there that have bought things from me, and I've helped other people out with their lasers and 3D printers and their plotters. So, yeah, they know where I am.
Yeah, it was this one particular live. I just remember someone saying it, and I was like, whoa, that's a little too much information, I haven't watched it yet, but Patrick over at Laser Maker Realm did a video on foil today.
Huh.
All right. Let us know how it worked out. We should try it or not. But yeah. So happy hump day, everybody. Happy hump day. I got my Modelo. I don't know if anyone's drinking a cold one at the same time.
Well, I've got some Mexican Coca-Cola going here in my American Eagle tumbler.
Nice
we
one.
make these, by the way.
So I've been obviously looking through all of our lives, and a lot of the questions we're getting is people starting off and they're asking for advice and growing their business. And we've really went into depth on selling on Etsy and different methods on boosting your sales. But one thing I never really asked you guys is, do you guys have a website? You don't have to give it out if you don't want to. And if you do, is there a platform that you're using to host or create your website?
I have 2 websites, one for our nursery business and one for our craft business. And I'll give the names. They're very, very similar. Their nursery is moonshinedesignsnursery.com, and our craft business is moonshinecrafts.com. And both are hosted by GoDaddy. And I use WordPress to build the sites.
Nice.
So I have I use Wix actually for my site. I'm on the fence of whether it's awesome or not. It does too much for you, and when you want to actually do something manually, it's really hard to get at code. But my site is slicepie.design.
Nice. So I don't
Pi
actually have
TI as the pie. This thing.
Yep, for my laser engraving woodworking, I don't actually have a website or anything like that. Like I said, I've just been really using Facebook. I have a business page for my apparel business, but I've never shared that online. Just because, you know, when it comes to Roger can contest, and it comes to DTF or DTG, you know, it's right click copy, and they're pasting and they're printing your shirts and stealing your ideas. So I think when it comes to wood, it's a little harder to copy your design. They can have their own version of it, right? But it's not going to be literally as easy as stealing your artwork and, you know, making their own shirt.
It's very easy to steal people's artwork off of places like Etsy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's the thing, right? If you sell designs as opposed to the product, like if somebody pushed a design up there, I could have their design as an SVG file in about 2 minutes.
Right.
Right. You can do it from Lightburn actually. Bring a PNG file into Lightburn and trace it, and you've got an SVG file. Not that I'm promoting that sort of behavior, but
and once it's in SVG, if there's a watermark in it, you can take it out, because I had somebody do that to me.
Yeah, you can edit the nodes. Now, Lightburn's not the best for node editing, but
that's what I'm saying. So I think what I'm going to do, as I said earlier on, is that I wanted to take one of these lasers and just say, hey, you know, this is what the manufacturer's selling it at. I literally built a case study and saying in 90 days you could pay this laser off if you were to make, you know, these type of products. And then also share my fails, not just my successes. Like, I tried to sell this, like the birdhouses. Like, I think they look so cool. Matter of fact, I just finally sold them. They sold like a week ago. And I think that was like our third live. That was like, hey, look at this birdhouse.
Persistence paid off.
Yeah. As I sit here and say, everything sells within 3 days. That didn't sell, you know. But all over Facebook, everyone's like, all over YouTube, make birdhouses, make all this money. You know, they got great content and got a ton of views. But I don't know if anyone in the live here, you have luck selling birdhouses, let me know. It was not success to me.
Yeah, well, we've talked about this over the last few weeks. If you want to pay for a laser, buy a CO2 laser, a full sheet of the sparkliest acrylic you can buy, and a bag of earring mounts, and make earrings. Cut. By the time you cut a 4x8 foot sheet of acrylic into earrings, you'll have paid for your laser.
You know what's crazy too is that I posted this video a year ago, right? And I originally just made these only for the video itself. I wasn't actually making these to sell. But when I posted, everyone's like, I want them. So then I was selling them. But then people were messaging me and emailing me like, hey, man, what if I don't own a laser? You know, how can I make it? I'm like, you know, you can use a jigsaw, something. But then a couple of people told me like, hey, Rick, what would you think about taking all your designs and cutting them out in acrylic and selling them as a jig so I can just use a router?
Templates, yeah.
And I was like, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. So that's another thing that you could do as a laser, not even necessarily making something with it. You're just coming up with good designs and selling jigs.
Yeah, you get an edging bit with a bearing on the end, and actually you need a bearing on the top of the bit so that it can follow the acrylic.
Right, but
or get 4 millimeter acrylic
with crazy. As long as your design doesn't have crazy points, you're fine, right?
You just use a smaller bit. You can get into fairly sharp corners.
Yeah.
The only thing you won't get is a perfectly square inside corner. You'll never get that.
Yeah, you won't get a perfectly square corner, no. But for the only place you have really inside corners on those jack-o'-lanterns is the face, right? And you don't really care if there's square edges or not.
Right. Right, exactly. And at the end of the day, it's your design, right? So nobody know if it's a little rounded over and it's not like it doesn't matter. They don't know that.
Yeah.
The customer buying it doesn't know that.
I've made a few acrylic templates for people. The last guy, I made him a really elaborate acrylic template, and then he decided that he would just bring his material over and we'd do it on my CNC rather than him sitting there with a router. But it was way more elaborate than your jack-o'-lantern. Your jack-o'-lantern, you could whip those up in 10 minutes. You could have one cut out, right? So,
yeah, of course. Yeah, but again, that's just something. And I told that person, like, hey, if you've been looking to buy a laser, and he did do that by hand with a jigsaw or a router, in one sale of all these, you could be, purchasing the laser, and then not have to do it by hand anymore.
Yeah.
So,
or you could go really old school and get a coping saw out.
Yeah.
I have one hanging on the wall in my workshop. It's really more
So
a nostalgia piece.
And mine just covered with dust.
Yeah, I have it because I like to do the back coping and crown molding.
Yeah. That's it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Sorry, my mistake. Not laser millers.
Oh,
not
Valley Forge.
Laser. Memory is getting out of me. Yeah. Anyone have any questions that they want us to address? Anything you guys want to bring up? Let us know. Let us know. That's what we're here for. So how long are you in Mexico, Roger?
Till Saturday. Flying back Saturday morning.
Oh, wow.
Then I'll be back on the home front until November 2nd, which down here, we're coming back here for, I'm going to do this in Spanish, El Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead.
Yeah, I get geeky into that, man. I make a lot of stuff for that. But my niche is memorial, right? So
well, that's the whole point of Day of the Dead. A lot of people in the United States mistaken that as being a thing like Halloween, and it is not. If you're not familiar with what that is, it's when people of Mexican heritage pay tribute to their past and deceased. And a big thing down here is they will build individual altars to fit that person's personality, and they're generally decorated with orange marigolds. And then there's different things that go back with that person that is deceased. Maybe they had a favorite hot sauce, so there'll be a bottle of that there. Or they had a favorite musician, there would be something of that there. And it's that type of thing. It's not Halloween.
Yeah, we were in Puerto Vallarta when they had all the parades that time of year one year. And my daughter was like 5. And she was crying. She was covering her face. And she says, I don't like the ha-has. I don't like the ha-has. And I'm like, ha-has? What are you talking about, ha-has? Because the masks they were wearing in the parades. So it was like, like a scary mask. So it's like, so 5-year-old, she came up with the name ha-has, like it was a scary mask. But it was insane to see that in Mexico, to be there, to witness that in those parades and all that's going on. That was a cool thing to witness. Sure.
Well, we try to hit it every year, and some of the costumes are extremely elaborate.
Oh yeah, it's insane. Xtool D1 Pro 20 watt. My crosshair and actual laser track do not match. How do I correct?
Are you using XCS or Lightburn? I'll ask a question to answer your question.
Hey, I have a similar question. Then the longer B1, since we're talking about it. If I type in the example 1.5 inches, right, and I draw a line, but then the default, how it shows you, like the graph, it's like a 1/4 inch off.
That's not really surprising. Well, you don't know if your limit switches are working, right?
Well, so you think that's what it is?
Oh wait, you're drawing something like a square or something, and you're making it.
So when you look in Lightburn itself, right, it shows you the graph, like it says, the measurements on the side.
The grid. You mean the grid?
The grid.
Yeah.
Right. It's a 1/4 inch off. So if I go 1 inch
off from what?
Huh?
It's a 1/4 inch off relative to what?
You can change that graph and make it any dimension you want.
Yeah.
Right, but by default, I just put it in. It tells you it's so many millimeters by so many millimeters, and it opens up.
Okay, So light burn. So go to the machine settings up on the top toolbar. I think it's the thing with the wrench, the couple of wrenches. And in there, you'll see a red dot calibration. Is it that one or the one beside it? It might be the one beside it. Sorry, I'm doing it from memory. But it's one of one of those calibration screens. You'll see a thing that will let you calibrate the red dot. And really all you need to do is measure just cut a square or something, and then measure the difference between where the red dot is versus where the square is. And that'll be the X and Y offset for the pointer.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I see.
You can see it?
Yeah.
You see light burn?
I see, no, black.
I see the word light burn.
What about now?
No.
No.
All right.
You can share an individual app. I don't have light burn on this box. This is my editing box, so at least I don't think I have light burn on here.
And I'm on a tablet, so I can't, obviously can't open it. Don't have it on there.
See, if it was XCS, you could run it on a tablet.
Yeah, weird.
I guess I should really put light burn on this system.
Hold on. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
okay,
click.
So we're going
so click the thing, the wrench there on the toolbar. It might be on the toolbar, not the menu. Yeah. No, go to the one beside it to the left, the gears. The toolbar. Yeah.
Okay.
Where the hell is it?
Well, you had to see me trying to read this on the tablet.
Go back to the other screen, the wrench again. Enable pointer offset. Sorry, right in the middle at the top.
This one.
Yeah. So enable that, and then you can set an X and a Y offset to move the pointer relative to where the laser actually is. I did show how to do this in a video, some video, pretty much any video where, in fact, it was a longer B1 video I did on adding a laser pointer to a longer B1.
So now that, I guess if you don't have direction, you can go to Steve's channel, look for it, or at least now you know what settings you're going. You could probably type that setting into YouTube. Someone will probably go into detail on how to do it.
Let me see if I can find that video quickly here. It's
does anyone else use Tinkercad for modeling?
I have
Autodesk. Yeah, it's free and uses SVGs, all web-based. You can export SVGs directly. I use Xtool Creative Space with P2.
Let's show the question. Yeah. Yeah, I've used Tinkercad in the past.
I've never heard of it.
Tinkercad? It's a free little CAD tool. It's actually quite easy to use, and you can build cool things with it.
And if you've never used CAD before and you're just blown away by it, start with Tinkercad. It was actually designed to teach children how to do 3D modeling. Yeah, actually, I've used it to create a lot of the models that I 3D print for laser risers, because it's very, very quick for me to do it there.
Okay, thank you for the information and help. It's much appreciated. Steve's looking for the video, so you can find it. We'll drop it in the comments.
Yeah, one of these moments here, I'll have it. No, I'll find it.
He has to minimize all the OnlyFans pages he has open right now.
Yeah,
he's got to make a living, so you got to pay the bills.
Here you go. I don't. There. Let me just jump in here and see where I did it, so you don't have to belabor the whole video here.
Looks like we only have one like, guys. 26 people currently live. We'd appreciate if you just give us that thumb up. Appreciate that. That really helps us on the algorithm for sure, for sure. That'd be awesome.
Okay.
Found it?
Yeah. And if you jump in here at about, if you jump in there about 5 minutes in, there's a calibration.
There
thing.
it is.
It'll show you what you have to do. It's the same regardless of what the red dot is. It's really just to say, here's my red dot and here's where my work is, and calculate a difference.
So I see 3 likes. Okay, they're coming.
Yeah, but 2 of those are Rick's.
You can't like your own videos, can you?
Well, of course you can.
What are your thoughts on the Monport 90 watt CO2 bed coming? Because considering because of the cost, I'm worried of it being hard to use. Thoughts?
Hard to use in what regard? Like it's a nice laser.
There's a little bit more maintenance to a CO2 than there is to a diode, but otherwise,
I think you're doing it an injustice. It's quite a bit more maintenance actually, but it's so the 20 by 28 is a little small. Like if you're gonna go out to all the trouble to get a 90 watt laser, get a 24 by 36. And Monport has one. I think it might be 100 watt, but I
would say that 90 watt laser is nothing the same as their 40 watt. And what I mean by that is,
no,
we all have the Monport K40, and it's like I'm trying to put this politely, it's like a very entry level CO2 laser. It's affordable.
It's very good at making acrylic unicorns. That's all I pretty much do with it.
And I would say, and I said this before, the Monport K40 is to me a pre-mod K40, because if you type in K40, there's like 10 people who sell the K40s, but the Monport version is pretty much, with the exception of not having air assist, they did all the upgrades that people are buying it and then doing. So at least you're kind of starting like pre-modded, as you would if you would have bought it not from them.
Yeah, the big thing with the K40s, which I don't think is true for the 90, K40 lasers tend to use really crappy controllers. You want to make sure whatever you buy has the upgraded controller.
Yeah, they have the upgraded controller.
Yeah, mine has the upgraded one.
Yeah. But I've seen, even now, I've still seen off-market, off-brand kind of K40s that still use these terrible, crappy controllers. You can't run them in Lightburn. You have to use, what's the other thing?
And that's why I said it's like a pre-mod. You know what I mean? It's everything you have done. But the only thing that doesn't get me, it's like, really? Monport, why would you not stick air assist? Come on, man. You know what I mean? Like, that was my number one complaint.
Yeah,
but
well, a 90 watt will have air assist for sure.
Yeah, my first one out of box had problems. It worked for like, I don't know, 2 hours and then just crapped out. It sent me another brand new one, and that one's worked fine ever since. But and then the only other thing I did is I changed I think Roger and I both did this. We changed the LCDs.
Oh yeah, they'll go out.
You know, they changed LCDs because they're in Celsius, or what were they? They're in.
Mine was a Celsius, which wasn't a problem, but mine just went out. And they're cheap. You could buy a really nice color one on eBay for $10. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. So I converted them to our metrics of measuring, not the rest of the world. And then yeah.
You're an island when it comes to measurement.
Yeah. So I was like,
well, like so many other things in Canada, we tend to be bilingual about it, so I can work in either.
But I do have the fume extractor as well as the chiller. They did send me. And like I said, I'm not bashing them. Anything that's mass produced, you can have an issue. I don't really know what was wrong with it. But the only thing that I would say too is that when you look at the wire that connects the CO2, the actual wires that they put together, the connection was like, what's that?
The high voltage wire?
Yes.
Yeah.
The connection was like horribly made. Like they like wrapped it with their fingers, folded it over, and took a piece of plastic, like a solid piece of plastic, and drilled a hole in it and shoved it in there.
Didn't solder it?
No.
Oh, okay. That's bad.
It wasn't soldered. It wasn't wire nutted. It wasn't electrical taped. You know. And
well,
and you
it really has to be soldered. I mean, it's 25,000 volts, right? That fires the tube.
It's not soldered. Yeah. And then the other thing you got to remember is that unit, it's bonded to the case. There's no ground on that. It's bonded on the inside to the case. So I actually grounded mine on the outside. So on the outside they have a ground, and I took that ground and then I bonded it to my UPS.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. But yeah, that's a lot of.
You got to be careful grounding those things because they can be hot on the case, right?
Right.
And you're grounding it, and you're basically creating a short at that point.
Yeah. Well, I was just binding the case, right? So like an earth ground, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
I learned a valuable lesson today when doing a lot of cutting. Clean your lens often.
That's very true, especially if you're not using AirAssist.
Yeah. So this is, getting back to the maintenance that CO2s you need, even with AirAssist. It's not as bad actually with AirAssist, but you have to clean the lens and all the mirrors in a CO2 laser fairly often. Otherwise, you basically get all the crap that floats around inside the laser cooked to the surfaces. And if you're doing a lot, I've actually cooked a lens in my 90-watt laser. Like it gets enough crap on it that it starts to heat, and then just drills a hole right through the lens.
The other thing you have to watch when you're cleaning your mirrors is not get them out of alignment, or you'll be realigning your mirrors.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. You have to learn how to align things. It's not bad. The first time when I first got a CO2 laser, the first time I had to align it, I was terrified that the thing was never going to work again. But now, well, I built my own laser, so now I can do an alignment in 5 minutes. But it's something you have to do because the things vibrate and the lens mounts will eventually rattle out of position. It doesn't take much time actually once you get used to it.
Yeah, yes. He was trying to win.
Yeah. Hey, Wisconsin. He's pretty close to a Canadian. But yeah, even going back to this, even a diode laser, you do eventually have to clean them. Now you don't actually clean the lens; you're cleaning just a piece of quartz on the outside. So it's less worrisome if you scratch it or something, because you can replace that for a couple $. They're pretty cheap.
And if you happen to be using shop air instead of a little aquarium pump or something for your AirAssist, make sure there's no water in it, because that little quartz lens will shatter.
Yes,
if you got water in your air. Guess how I know that?
If it's hot, if the lens is hot, it will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. So my son.
There's a pre-step there, which is let the thing cool down before you put air on it.
Yeah.
My son it's interesting. You can vacuum we're making fun of, and we're doing the live, and it's rah rah above the basin here. So I was screaming out and turn it off.
There's a tenant in the condo above us staying here this week, and all the floors and all these they're ceramic, and then the floor underneath that is concrete. Well, they have chairs up there that don't have the little slidey things on the bottom, so when they drag the chairs across the room, it just echoes in here.
Yeah,
and they're doing salsa dancing in high heel shoes, and
I don't know what they're doing up there.
Yeah, my son sounds like Bam Bam upstairs right now. I don't know what the hell he's doing. I think he's trying to come through the floor.
He's testing out the new shoes.
New Nikes. Yeah.
Jeez. I hope I can get some free time over the next couple of weeks, but it's looking pretty grim right now.
I was using the S1 with air assist, but I hadn't cleaned it. I figured out a few minutes why it wouldn't cut after 3 passes.
Yeah. That's usually the symptom. It's like, why isn't my laser cutting like it used to? That's the signal to go clean.
Rick, I remember not too long ago you drawing your name a few times.
Yeah, he's gently accusing you of cheating.
What do you mean?
Well, there was something else here. Where
and the laser. I did learn from that mistake because I commented what you should write. So I ended up creating a banner that, actually, speaking of, we don't even have our banner going. Here we go. This is the one. Yeah.
No contest. Yeah, so, now he's gonna leave.
I created a banner so that way I don't have to type it because I won like 2 times. Funny.
So we're gonna have to have some more contests. Well, Steven's on. Steven, I've been working on your dart box. I did manage to cut one the other day, but I didn't like how it turned out. So
you mentioned about Roger doing 2 likes.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you can like your own. Well, you can like your own once. If you click it twice.
Trending products to sell for upcoming holidays. Well, I'm selling the hell out of these, hopefully.
Creepy jack-o'-lanterns. They sell this time of year.
And we've got quite a few orders for some Halloween items.
See, that one's so much more serene. That's the kind I want on my doorstep. Some happy guy. I can make the other face myself. See, look, he left. That's it. We have to have a contest every week now.
Can't have a contest every week.
Yeah, then we're not special.
What we can do, though, is we have done in the past, and I think it was cool, is we can allow someone from the live to join us live.
Yeah.
So, Rick, you need to make more. Yeah. If you go to my YouTube page under the community where you see all the posts, or I can kind of turn my screen around. There's more. Yeah. So I'm gonna make 200 of them, a bunch of different designs though. But these ones, these 2 particular designs, people ordered them, so I made a batch of them. But then before Halloween, obviously, I have all of them made. Thanks.
And you're just putting like a tea light inside them?
Yeah, let me show you.
Because it's cedar, you can't put a real candle in there. It would be a smoldering.
No, just a little Amazon special.
Well, you could put a real candle in there for a while.
Yeah, but then it becomes real bright. Then it becomes a big candle for a while, and then it turns into ash. I have boxes full of those things too.
But what I did do is, and I'll show you. Obviously, this room's really bright, right? There's lights all around me. But on the inside, at first I painted it white, and then I painted it yellow, right? So because it's painted yellow, it really exaggerates this light and makes it look a lot brighter than it actually is. So you can see how dim lit that is, right? I mean, this is not by any means bright. But when you stick it in here,
yeah, nice.
You
could.
And again, there's a whole lot of lights on me right now.
You could paint the inside before you cut it.
I did.
Like paint the inside board, like what's going to be on the inside. Paint it before you cut it.
So I just take like 20 boards at a time and paint them white, and then let it dry. Then I paint it yellow, and then I flip the board over and I paint it the opposite color, and then I cut them down.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because it saves trying to paint into a lot of corners, right?
Yeah, no way. I mean, I touch up afterwards because then obviously the edges are not going to be painted, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, mass produce them, you know, cut them in batches makes it easier. Plus, you start getting in the groove and you start going a lot faster. You know, the first two are like kind of cumbersome, and then you're just cranking through.
You know, of course, if they start selling hot, then China will be sending a container load of them over for selling them for $1.65.
They'll be at Walmart in a couple years.
They'll be driving you out of business.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I literally made them last year just for the video to show, you know, a seasonal item that you could make. And first day nothing sold, and second day and the third day they were gone. Okay.
So yeah, I did some. They're like little Japanese lanterns, and I put a tea light in them, and I used vellum for the the replacement of rice paper. And I've made quite a few of those things. It's always cool. I go to people's places every now and again, and I'll see them stacked up there on a rope across the ceiling, and
nice.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
The only other thing I did too is, but they're obviously more expensive than those tea lights. Is instead of putting the tea lights, I put those fairy lights.
Yeah.
Because then it creates like this, like, since they're smashed in there, and there's actually a decent amount of them. When you click it on like the chase, it like creates a crazy look on the inside, you know, coming out of like rah, the lights, you know. But a good set of fairy lights, pretty long to fill that, is like $5, right? Versus the tea light is like 20 cents. So I'm gonna make it an upgrade option. No contest on what we can cut and paste the fastest. Well, we might do it if you guys want to join us live. Is anyone interested in joining us live? Chat with us on this live today. We can.
We're always happy to talk to fellow makers. Find out what you're up to.
Yeah, let's see. Let me start that. It was contest. Is it draw? Hold on. Oh, giveaway. All right, let me go ahead and select it. All right, so let me go ahead and share it so that I don't get accused of what.
Type that keyword in a few times just to make sure.
All right, so if you want to join us, and I'll go ahead and share my screen so you're aware that I am starting it. Here we go. The giveaway tool. I'm gonna uncheck to exclude, multiple entries. If you go ahead and put the Shop Talk Live, hashtag Shop Talk Live, no spaces, all lowercase, it will count you into the option to join our live. So that we'll just go ahead and let that run in the background. And again, if you put it in as many times as you want, as was said earlier, copy paste, whatever, go for it.
We're going to give 6 minutes, 8:30. Well, what is it for you? 6:30, 7:30?
I'm sure you've been asked many times, but why is it the best way to? What's the best way to clean the diode laser? Chem wipes.
That's propyl alcohol.
Yeah.
Higher, like if you can get IPA 90, and I'm talking either propyl alcohol, not India Pale Ale.
If you go on Amazon,
by the way.
I tend to use 99%. You can actually go, if you live in kind of a suburban area, you can go to a farm supply place, because farmers use isopropyl alcohol for something, I guess, for cleaning horses' feet or something. I don't know, but you can buy it by the gallon, and it's fairly cheap.
Yeah,
so I usually keep a gallon of it in my shop.
You'll also want to use a microfiber cloth. Don't use anything that's going to leave lint behind.
Yeah.
A lot of people like to use Q-tips, but a microfiber cloth is a lot better.
I use these?
Just like, well, you can use the things that the little wipes that people use to clean their glasses.
I use these chem wipes, delicate task wipes, because they're if you just search that on Amazon, they're lint free, scratch resistant, and super cheap. And they're super thin.
I don't. I mean, maybe they've improved. When in my early days of my career, when I worked for an industrial laser company, if you were caught cleaning optics with a chem wipe, somebody would beat the crap out of you because they tend to be fairly abrasive, actually.
Yeah, well, you clean fiber optics with them, you know, the end connection, so
yeah,
they can't be too crazy.
Yeah, right? Like I said, maybe they've improved. That was 35, 40 years ago, right? So
right. Yeah, I've never been a person who liked to use cleat tops. I think those are a little more abrasive. But the chem wipes, they're fairly soft.
Yeah, I just have they're individually wrapped in tin foil, in foil wrappers. They look like wet wipes, but they're for cleaning optics, specifically for glasses. And I just bought a box of those on Amazon for like, I don't know, $15 or something. Bought me a couple hundred of them, so I'm set for life.
Chem wipes even sells them like that with the pre-alcohol on it.
Yeah.
And because of COVID, now sometimes it's harder to get alcohol. So if you buy 99.8 or 99.9, you could do a search for like fiber optic cleaning. It's technically not considered for the medical field, and it's cheaper. You can buy a gallon of that alcohol for like $8.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap. Like I said, if you go to a farm supply place, you can get 99%. I bought a gallon of it for, I think it was $20.
Yeah.
I use it. I mean, I don't know if you use it, Rick. I use it to clean the bed on 3D printers too.
I use it for everything. I actually literally have it in a spray bottle. I clean everything you can think of, because
it's general purpose cleaner. It's probably not all that good for you, but
no, turns your hands pretty white sometimes.
Yeah, it dries. It takes the oil right out of your hands.
Yeah, but Roger would know everything we have to do, because you have to remove contaminants and all that, because you do joints or put things together. You can't have break bonds or whatever.
You were an HV guy. What are you doing with fiber optic cable?
What's that?
I thought you were an HV guy. What are you doing with fiber optic cable?
Oh, it's similar to the way it's cleaned. HV connections, when we're putting termination boots on, everything has to be just absolutely spotless. If you got one little gremlin in there, when you go to do the high pot test, it'll fail.
Yeah.
And putting one of those ends on is not only time consuming, those kits are expensive.
Right. Yes. Yeah. I ran fiber. My whole network is fiber optic cable, the backbone. So I have.
Yeah. Plus every connection and substations now, they're all fiber. I mean, you hardly see copper at all. So you bump something, move something, you better be able to clean it and plug it back in.
Or just plug it in and go away real fast. Make it someone else's problem. Yeah.
I know I did it work. We got a high loss. It wasn't me. Yeah, I got blamed for one time. I had to open up this cabin and it was multi-mode fiber in there. And all it was open and literally like the end broke off. And I was like, well, this piece of crap, like, how are you blaming me for an outage? Like, that shouldn't happen. But it was like taped from the boot, and oh God. But sometimes you're the last one to touch it. Like 1, 2, 3, not it.
Yeah, here's some sage advice. Yet the F1 is excellent for taking to craft fairs and doing live engraving. But everybody else is doing that too. So if you go to a craft fair where anybody's doing something that can be engraved, don't be surprised if you see a half a dozen F1s there.
Yeah, it's gonna be the new crave for sure. You know what I'm really surprised is that I went to the mall this weekend for the first time in a very long time. When I walked in the mall, Roger, you may be familiar with the Fox Valley Mall.
Oh yeah, yep.
In Aurora. In like the big stores, you would normally see like the Nordstroms, the Carsons, the Sears, like the big box stores are always on the ends. And then in stores, you have your normal stores you'd always see, right? When you walked in there, I felt like I was in a flea market. Even the jewelry stores, it was like, where's like K Jewelers and where's like JB Robinson. Like, where's like the name brand? Is it like, can malls literally not like afford to like, bring these type of stores in because they're not willing to pay that kind of rent? Because it looked like flea market crap.
Well, the malls we have around us is two major ones, and they're I'd say both of them are at least 50% empty.
Yeah.
A lot of the big anchor stores, of course, Montgomery Ward. You got to be old to know what that is. Yeah, that's long gone. Of course, Sears is gone.
Right.
Trying to think of a few of the other ones.
It's
Yonkers.
It's the rent, right? Like it's a couple $100 a square foot now for A-class office space or A-class retail space, and you got to turn over a lot of revenue every month to pay the rent.
Right. So I saw a lot of mom and pops like crap, and I saw whole stores that look like Shein. Like we've all seen those. The generic Chinese clothes, like it says 2X, and it's like medium,
like a Temu outlet.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it looked like. And I was telling my wife, like, what the hell happened to the mall? Like, I mean, there used to be Taco Bells and McDonald's in there, and like they don't even have those in the mall. It was like a banana pudding store. Who the hell wants banana pudding? You know what I mean? Like, and do you really get that much business?
This is my question of the week for everybody: is like, have people bought things on Temu? Because I keep looking at it, they keep badgering me to say, "Hey, we'll send you some kind of a package, talk about it on your channel." It's like, I don't want to buy anything from you because I've heard nothing but horror stories.
So they wanted to give me $1,000 to purchase whatever I wanted.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we had the same offer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so what I did is I made my own first purchase. I just kind of wanted to see. And I ordered like these Game Boys. And it came with like, I don't know, 2,000 games on it. It worked. The plastic seemed kind of cheap, but it worked. I ordered this tennis ball that was like larger than, looked like a kickball, but it was I have an English Mastiff.
Oh, okay.
It's so big you couldn't pop it. No, because my dog, give her a ball, she'll pop in 2 seconds. So if the ball's big enough that she can't close her mouth on it, she can't pop it. But I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're buying some for the quarter price, I guess you can't really complain. You kind of have to know that when you bought it, right?
Yeah, I suppose. Like I saw in my Instagram feed the other day, it was if you install the Temu app on your phone, you can buy a 4K drone with 2 cameras, straight down and forward looking, for $8.03. And I got,
and free shipping. So,
as they say in Facebook land, right? If the product is free, you're the product.
Yeah, like how? On the subject of cleaning mirrors and lenses,
I mean, it's some promotional thing, but at the same time, it's like, okay, there is something seriously wrong with Temu, the product, the app, something. There's something that right there.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, are you going to steal my credit card information? I don't know. It just.
Well, it's I don't know. I have such a. I mean, part of it is because I spent my whole career in tech. I'm so paranoid about privacy and security, right? And every time I see a new security breach story, or the CrowdStrike thing from a couple of weeks ago, it's just like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. So there was a security leak I was reading about just recently, which basically leaked the personal information for every single person in the US, Canada, and Europe. Everybody. So they can actually create like a line of credit in your name. Because they have your in the US, they have your social insurance number, your name, your address.
You're talking about the Equifax thing?
Is that, well, it was a whole bunch of companies. It wasn't just Equifax. It was.
So I know Equifax had a breach, and now what people are saying is to get something off your credit, to fix your credit, if you call Equifax and you tell them like something's not legit and you want it removed because of what happened and they're hacked, they can't really verify it because they don't know if it's accurate.
Yeah.
So people are taking all kinds of stuff off their credit.
Yeah.
That's bad.
That mortgage I defaulted on 20 years ago. Yeah. It's
yeah,
that was bogus.
Yeah, but the other thing is, I don't remember if it's Ford or Chevy. They just got sued by Texas for like billions of dollars because they were capturing information on your driving habits and collecting it and sending it to themselves.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's not cool.
yeah, yeah, but it's crazy that Texas, right? We always say Texas is like they're their own kind of people. They're unique. You
Hey,
know,
we
the
may have
state
some
of
Texas
Texas, like
people on
sued
the call here.
manufacturer.
Be
Yeah,
gentle.
yeah. Well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like Texas is like they don't play. Like you know what I mean? On the subject of cleaning, did we address that question?
Not yet.
Oh no, sorry. We'll get back to you in a
On the
second, Carl.
subject of cleaning mirrors and lenses, I have an X-Tool P2.
Yeah.
Cleaning the mirror at the end of the year. I'm sorry, cleaning the mirror at the end of the laser tube is a royal pain.
Yeah.
How
So
often should that mirror be cleaned?
it's probably so that one is pretty sealed up. Like to clean it, you have to take the back off the laser and disassemble a few things to get in there. It's realistically, it's not going to get dirty very often. The first one, it's the ones, it's the number 2 and number 3 mirror that. Hey, Tinkerverse. This is Carl. I sent you a message, Rick, about Tinkerverse.
Oh, this is the one that wants to join our live?
Yeah, well, I invited him. He probably doesn't want to, but I dragged him kicking and screaming.
So Tinkerverse, I apologize. I will reply back to that email. We'll see if we get you set up next week, unless you want to join now. Oh, I can't say that because we already have the live going.
We're already running the contest. Now you're going to upset.
We only have 2 people entered. So I guess Tinkerverse, if you want a chance to win, you could do Shop Talk Live, hashtag Shop Talk Live. We could draw you in. There's actually only 2 people who entered.
Wow. A whole bunch of people who don't want to talk to us. I wonder what's wrong.
I'm in Miami, Florida. I think they're going to ask for a tax ID, which I'm having issues with the county tax office at the moment. So I'm not sure how to fix that. Who's asking for a tax ID?
Oh.
Yeah.
I used to have a U.S. tax number.
So I heard the biggest scam now is, I can't remember off the top of my head what country it is, but the country announced that any U.S. or Canadian citizen that starts a business in their country only has to pay 1% tax. So what they're doing is they're taking United States and Canadian-based businesses, and then they're opening a company in that country, and whatever profit this makes, somehow they're charging the fee for this company, so that this company in the stateside is zero profitable, and the company who's profitable is in that country, and they only pay 1% taxes. It's insane.
That sounds awesome.
I need to know how to do that.
It said Nike did it this year.
Well, so what I discovered years ago when I had my first company is the tax, like Canada and the US have always had fairly tight tax treaties, but they don't actually talk to each other about it. So I had a company, I started a company that was doing quite well, and about 90% of the business was in the US. And it's like things are crossing the border all the time, and it's like, I don't know if I've claimed all my tax money, and for the longest time, every time I went through customs, either going into the US or coming back to Canada, I was pretty sure someone was going to arrest me for saying, oh yes. It's like and nobody could tell me. So unless it's like $10,000, more than $10,000 in a transaction, no one really keeps track of it, and it's a little alarming. I think it's tighter now with Homeland Security, and we have an equivalent here. And
I flew to New York once, and I had some money on me, and I went through that where you put your hand like this and they're scanned, and he was like, "Whoa, you got money on you?" And I was like, "Yeah, going on vacation." He's like, "Oh, we're gonna need you to come with us," and they took all my money and they stuck it in this machine, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, checking for drug paraphernalia. I was like, they always say on Google, like almost every dollar bill has cocaine on it. What the hell does that have to do with anything? So then they tested my hands. I'm like, dude, are you really serious? Like, this isn't like I have like 100 grand. I mean, like I'm cartel or something, you know? But they tested it all, and came back and they'd let me go. But I was nervous I was gonna miss my plane. It was so stupid.
Yeah, here you go. You get what you pay for. That is true most of the time.
Pulling back off the PS2 is a nightmare. P2 is a nightmare.
Yeah, there's like a whole bunch of weird places for screws. There's 2 or 3 on the front underneath the lid on the hinge, and then there's some in the back. It's a bit crazy, but yeah, it's not the nicest.
So what he said was he's watching our live in his underwear, he's drinking a beer.
Oh, that's too much information. Wow. You can still join us. I mean, it's either this or my OnlyFans channel. It's like,
why did you join us with the camera off? He's got his yeah. So 7:40. You guys wanna call it and see if we pull someone in?
Yeah, draw somebody in.
All right, here. Let me share my screen. We'll draw someone in.
Oh, craft fairs. Yeah, that's where the tax
Here we
IDs come.
Tell them that you're a sole proprietor and you're using your social security number.
Hey, too old.
Too old to do this. And give him your social security number. That's what I would do. Do me a favor, send me an email at rick.mares@ricks2cents.com, and I will send you a link so that you can join us.
Well, some of the craft fairs around here, well, not here, we're in Mexico, but back home, you're required to charge sales tax, and you need to have a tax ID number for that.
Even to people out of state, like out of your jurisdiction?
Well, there you have to have more than a certain amount in dollars of sales. But let's say you go to a pop-up craft fair in someplace here in Illinois, and the particular municipality decides that you're going to have this craft fair, then everybody here needs to charge sales tax on whatever they sell. And then you need a tax ID number. Yeah. I have one, so it's not an issue for me. Of course, I don't do craft fairs, but
we have to charge sales tax.
Oh, that's crazy. I know there's places in Iowa do the same thing, even at farmers markets. If you're selling non-food items, if it's a food item, it's not taxable in Iowa.
He had to get a cola, and I was making him thirsty.
Yeah, he's drinking hams too.
You don't want. Oh, what did it say?
Sorry.
You don't want to get me on a live. I'll drive you guys away. Drive you guys crazy.
It's too late.
Checking my email.
Yeah, here you don't have to charge sales tax until you make more than $30,000 a year over the counter. In fact, it might be net, net, yeah. But yeah, I have a tax number too, so it's just easier.
Well, they say too is like, right, you're not supposed to have to pay taxes on the service. So you could say like, hey, I'm not selling them, I'm providing them a service.
Yeah, here it doesn't matter. We have a thing called a goods and services tax, which is basically everything. And now it's a harmonized sales tax, so it includes any local tax as well. Social insecurity. There you go. I got to move to the West Coast. No tax and
no.
Of course, you do have to put up with the occasional volcano and maybe a tidal wave.
Hey, Steve, you sent me a video. What is that video?
I sent you a video?
No. Steve Haskin.
Haskett.
Yeah. This is FYI. You sent me a video. No
email again, Rick.
Yeah, he froze up.
Uh-oh.
Either that or he's sitting really still.
Let me see if I can find his email address.
Yeah, one thing we don't forget to do is send in our sales tax return. The penalties are pretty stiff.
They'll just attribute sales tax to you here if you don't claim it, and then at the end of the year when you actually file your taxes, then they'll say, oh, well, next year you're on installments.
Yeah.
So it's just easier to do it the right way the first time. Oh, Rick's back. Rick, send your email. Post your email again.
Rick.Ramirez at rick's2cents.com.
Yeah, I'm sure if we asked for taxation horror stories, we'd find lots of stuff in here.
Yeah. We don't need to start making people drink. Once I fix it, I'm going to just pay it annually to avoid it.
Yeah, we were annually. They've changed us to quarterly because Governor Pritzker here, I guess, wants his money a little sooner or something.
Don't want you sitting on his interest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. You know what I thought was crazy is that when they made that new law that anyone using cash apps was going to get taxed. And it was like, look, no large corporation, no Best Buy, no Walmart, nobody of great value is using Zelle, right? Or PayPal, right? It's a mom and pop. And if you have to go after the mom and pop, if we're at that point in our economy, we're in trouble. Like, you know, you didn't make me drink. I just ran out. What I'm saying is, like, they got bigger fish to fry. Like, they should just leave the little guy alone. Nothing yet.
Yeah. If history has shown anything, especially in the U.S., it's not the corner store that's stealing $1 million a year. It's something like WorldCom stealing $1 billion, right?
Right. Speaking of Temu, they just sent me an email.
Oh yeah.
And somehow, whatever, they got my WhatsApp and they text me constantly too. Yeah, no email yet.
Yeah. No mail from Temu for me, thankfully.
Well, I've got my email turned. Well, of course, I'm on the tablet, so I've got that turned off.
Again.
But they usually come. It's usually about once every week or so, once every 2 weeks. I'll get a message from Temu to say, "Hey, we're awesome. Why don't you just get some stuff from us and talk about it?"
Yeah, it says it's so crazy because I'll even reply like, "Hey, you said already that I was an approved influencer or whatever." Nothing yet. Said you sent it, but still refreshing. Still nothing. Nothing yet. It was taking a minute to come through. I'm not sure. Yep, those billionaires pay zip. It's crazy. It's like I don't even want to say it because I don't cause trouble, but like Trump, when they did it, when they finally actually showed his taxes and they showed that he paid taxes, that somebody who made $36,000 a year, he says, if I did anything illegal, put me in prison. He says, I didn't make the laws. So that's the point. Like, so I'm not even mad. Like, I'm not even mad at him. Like, if he legit filed his taxes and that is legal, what he did, that's just messed up. That's just, you know what I mean? Like, if I was a billionaire, I wouldn't say I wouldn't do the same, but I'm just saying that's messed up. How can someone pay, you know, like, that's just not right. That's why he can't do business in the state of New York, because they say just because it's not illegal doesn't mean it's immoral, right?
Well, since I'm doing this live from Mexico down here, I guess I can write off the trip as a business expense, right?
There you
Of
go.
course.
There you go.
Yeah.
You're
There
working.
you go.
Of course, don't tell the Mexican government you're working, because then they'll ask you for a visa.
Yeah, you know what's crazy is, so I was in Pennsylvania, and they rejected my timesheet and said, Rick, you need to resubmit your timesheet for Pennsylvania. And I said, for what? They said, you were here for 3 days. I says, dude, I've never had to submit my time. Oh, well, now you're going to have to file taxes in Illinois, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York. I'm like, are you joking? No. I'm like, oh my God. That's crazy. For like 1 day's worth of work, 2 days of work. Really?
If you want to know why I'm glad I live where I live, that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I don't know. He's got better attorneys than us, obviously. That's all I'm saying.
I don't want to talk about politics.
Yeah.
No, having said that, I'm watching the DNC convention over on the other screen here.
Yeah,
just
but
to see what crazy things happen.
Yeah, just the laws are jacked up. That, you know what I mean, like a billionaire or these huge, large corporations, you know, they get federally funded and grant money, and you know what I mean, like a bowling alley that's been in family 3 generations goes out of business because they can't stay open because of COVID. Like, you know, like still nothing.
Adding a little bit here.
The Captain Morgan.
Yeah. No sense in drinking straight Coke.
Okay, tool for this. Keep saying address not found. Are you sure you put it right? Let me share my email address again. rick.ramirez@ricks2cents.com. Oh, yeah. There you go, Roger.
Something that's interesting is the Captain Morgan bottles in Mexico are 700 milliliter.
Yes, Steve just emailed me, so I know it works. Steve, by the way, what was that video? I didn't hit play because they'll start playing the audio while we're on the live. If it was what was that? My son's playing a flute in the vent.
You got bats in your belfry, or
you heard that too, right?
I heard something.
Yeah.
Oh, a laser foil. It's
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I never
I'm
got
now
an email.
intrigued. I might have to find.
I sent 3 times. I got nothing in my spam. Well, I tell you what, if you don't mind sharing your email address publicly, I can email you. I don't know what to say. I won't talk politics other than say I feel this whole thing is a big social experiment, just how much we tolerate both sides.
Yeah. I personally, I don't think anyone who wants to run a country should ever be allowed to run it. It doesn't matter whether they're elected or they take it by force. It just never ends well.
Yeah, I know like the freedom of the press, that's the whole idea, and share whatever, but just like to the rest of the world, we just look like idiots.
I don't know, it's kind of comedic. I turn on television, and every once in a while I think I'm watching the Comedy Channel, and then I see like the CNN logo or something on the screen. It's like, oh, wrong channel. But it's just as funny.
Nothing yet. Yeah, no email yet. Sorry.
Here, I'll send you a test one, Rick.
Well, I know it works. Steve just emailed me.
Well, see, interestingly, I have a different email address for you.
Yeah, they're all the same. The forwards. You just have RR Ramirez at Rick's 2 cents.
Yeah. But I'll use the.
It's a domain forward. Yeah, Steve just emailed me on the same exact email that came through.
There, see, somebody who agrees with me. I think the having a government job should be like jury duty. You take whatever you were making in the real world and you go do that job for as long as it takes, and then have an election at the end of it. And if you did a terrible job, you have to go back. No benefits, no anything. Just do the job.
Well, the one thing that I don't think is right about our government is that Supreme Court. How is that a life job?
Ours is lifetime appointment too. Our Senate is also a lifetime appointment.
That's BS to me. You got
Now,
these 80-year-olds.
Our Senate is kind of structured differently than yours. It doesn't have the same kind of power.
Well, it's live on TV. You can watch it, and when they're doing it, you'll see half the people like this, sleeping.
Yeah, that's how they collect their $300,000 a year.
Yeah.
Have a nap.
They're concentrating.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're listening intently.
That's what I tell my wife when she catches me doing that. So, what are you doing? I said, I'm thinking real hard. They said, go to bed.
Yeah, I don't know. I never got his email. You can try sending it to this if you want to see if it makes a difference, but it shouldn't.
I don't know. I figure your election, it doesn't matter who wins. I figure the odds of like a revolution are pretty high either way.
You could try sending it to that, see if it makes a difference, but I don't think it's going to make a difference. Because like I said, Steve just sent me an email and I got it. So yeah.
There you go.
I'm sure you've noticed that the bearded Viking is really flooding YouTube with stuff. Yeah, he's been going live like 3 times a day. It's a little crazy. But yeah. I think, and then he got a taste of the lasers when he joined our lives and got a sponsor. He got his first 2 sponsors when he did lives with us. Never had sponsors before. So yeah. We're still doing our thing. It's cool. But
yeah, there aren't too many people who just watch one YouTube channel. So I don't look at it as competition.
Absolutely. Plus, we're different. You know, we're working.
My hair's a little shorter than his.
My hair's a lot short.
Daniel's a good guy.
So I could have made a deal with these people, but I couldn't be exclusive. So sucks. Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
I hear good things about their lasers. I haven't used one, but
no, they wanted a 3-year exclusive rights.
Yeah, that's way too long.
Yeah. So, and that could do business with anyone in China, factory direct, but I couldn't like do videos or do business with anyone US based companies. And I was like, man.
Well, the connection I have here in Mexico in this particular condo is fiber. When I tried this way back last winter, when we were first going live, the condo I was in had cable instead of fiber. So we kept dropping the connection, and the more people that got on, the less bandwidth there was, and it just wasn't possible. But he's got a good fiber connection here.
It's because every kid was probably playing a video game or something, an online video game, eating up your cable bandwidth.
Kathleen sent me a email. I got it, and so now a bunch of people are sending me email, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think we really need to test this exhaustively, so everyone send Rick a message.
No, I mean they're coming through. They're definitely working because now other people are sending me the email. Yeah, they're definitely working. I got yeah,
fiber rules.
Yeah, it does.
I have 2 fiber lines coming into my house, and it's
so Kathleen. I did a lot of working in South Bend, Indiana area. I used to own a boring company before I came a lineman. So I was in Indiana, Illinois, Michigan, Wisconsin a lot. So South Bend, we used to did a ton of work out there. But yeah, and Michigan was hilarious. I got pulled over with a cop with the one single light. It was like the old 50s style police.
You weren't in Mayberry, were you?
He pulls me over. He comes walking up. They even wear like, it almost looks like Canadian like Mounties, like their uniforms a little different.
The weird baggy pants.
Yeah,
they only use those in when they're doing some kind of a celebration of some sort. It's their dress
so he
uniform.
came walking up, and I was like, "What's going on, man?" He's like, "Where's your DOT physical?" Blah blah blah. This that. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he thought I was like a transporter, like actually delivering equipment. I'm like, "Nah, man, I'm not a transporter. That's my equipment. I was literally digging with that equipment, you know." He thought because Illinois and Michigan, like, there's a lot of people who like transport equipment and semi trailers, you know, big time. Okay, hold on. He said he posted his email. Can someone find it?
Clayton wants to know if you've come to Hawaii.
Oh man, he's inviting us out there.
I liked Hawaii, actually. It's
I've never
just
been
insanely expensive.
It's on my bucket list.
Yeah, mine too, but it is pricey out there.
Yeah,
cheap down here.
I was very disappointed that that Lahaina burned to the ground, because that was a good place for.
Post your email again so I know which one's yours, because I have like 7 now and I don't know who you are. Somebody wrote "Be gentle." I don't know how to respond to that one. Too funny.
Oahu.
Yeah, so when I first started, I remember I was selling stickers for a long time, and one of my best customers was in Hawaii. It was crazy. I guess they had a stand. Yeah, they had a stand, and they were selling a bunch of my stuff. And I thought, as much as they're buying from me, I'm surprised they wouldn't just buy a plotter. But he said that, like, it's space. You know, like, they don't have the retail space. You know, so he's like, "Hey, I can't have a platter that big here, so it's cheap for me if you can just buy for you," and I just buy in bulk. I was like, "Oh, okay," but yeah, you have a platter too, right, Roger?
Yes. Got a Cricket, and then I've got and I can't think of the name of it. It's a big thing. Oh, it's a monster. 36-inch. Irritates me every time I try to use it.
It's got to be a Vivor then.
So I'm going to be selling my Epson DTG printer. I'm going to be selling my DTF printer. So kind of upgrade to big time. That's me. What's me?
Be gentle. Be gentle is him.
How was I supposed to know? That's all he wrote in the subject. That's all he wrote in the email. Be gentle. All right.
Well, now we have something to talk about. That's for sure.
That's hilarious. Hold on. That's me. Okay, hold on. Let me reply to you and get you live. That is hilarious.
Yeah, Clayton, do you have like 2-day Amazon delivery in Hawaii? Or does it take a few days? Be gentle.
Be gentle. What the hell, man?
We actually ship quite a few things to Hawaii.
Yeah, I've sold some stuff in Hawaii. I sold something to somebody in Australia one time, and on my site there's like 20 different options for shipping, and she picked the cheapest option possible, which apparently was like cargo ship. And it took months to get there.
All right, it's sent. So go ahead and click on the link, and you'll be able to join us live. We got like 30 minutes left, so
Yes, it was. She snuck around and tried to stay out of the camera, but got in it anyway. But she went outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, and tomorrow's her birthday. That's why we're down here this week.
Ah,
Her
nice.
birthday
that's
present.
cool. Well, it's cool. You guys finally turned 21. You can drink now that you're down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just turned 21. Can't you tell? Actually, the age down here is 18.
Yeah. I thought it was like as old as you can work.
Storm coming.
What?
There's a storm coming.
Oh, we're about to get a storm.
Oh,
That happens in the tropics.
yeah. Sunshine, rain, as they say.
Yeah. Well, it's dark now, but we had all the beach towels laying out on the balcony, so he's bringing them in.
So, Roger, I still think it's crazy. You said you married Miss America.
She can't hear you. I got earbuds in.
He's like, stop trying to get me in trouble. She can't hear you. Yeah, everyone's wishing her happy birthday. Happy birthday. Oh, here he is.
There he is.
Everybody's
hello.
telling you happy birthday.
Hello.
You
Hey,
made
how's
it.
it going?
It's quite the
two-
adventure to get
The
here.
be gentle was because of all the times I was trying to get to you. Be gentle afterwards because I'm not good with computers.
I was like, uh-oh, I don't know how to respond to that.
Is that an X-Tool S1 over your shoulder?
Yes, that is. And I also got an F1 so that way there I could do craft shows.
Nice.
I'm actually going to try my first craft show this Saturday.
Those are hot items for craft shows for sure. They're small, right? So
Yeah, but there's
you-
nobody here that does that in this area. So
wow, that's unusual because they've sold a pile of those things.
Where are you based out of?
I'm up in New Hampshire, almost in Canada.
Oh, okay.
We're
You got to be careful
almost
with
in the
Canadians.
promised land.
They're kind of funny.
We're in the North Country, and nothing comes past the notch, as they say.
Okay, nice.
Except for the tourist, and it's beautiful at fall for foliage season.
So is the laser a side hustle for you, full time gig? What's the deal?
Basically, what happened was I planned on working for another 4 years. I had my own painting business. It was called Do You Hate to Paint? And a lot of people didn't, evidently, so they hired me. And then I ended up with COVID and with long COVID and everything else. And I was looking at lasers as something to do later on anyways. So later on just came a little quicker.
Nice.
So
is there any particular niche that you get in? I know we preach to the choir, but we always say get in a niche that's going to be a way to start.
Right. And I don't know what it'll be, but I've done some mirrors, some painted mirrors. And it's been mostly for people I know and stuff like that. The one thing that I'm doing is I did some sports plaques.
Okay.
Like, a baseball player with their name and their number on the back. It's like 3D using 1/4 inch.
Yeah, neat.
So I'm thinking
cool.
that might be something that would sell a lot up here, especially with hockey. And then I also thought that if I can get in touch with a few people that do hockey tournaments and everything else like that, they usually give out medals. So
one thing I saw uniquely with CO2's enclosures that people were doing was hockey pucks.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking of more going to the tournament and they get their little medal, and I would just engrave their name and the date on the back.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then with the F1, and then have some other stuff there.
Well, I think the benefit for something like that is Facebook, right? Because now you can look up all these events because they're public on Facebook.
Right.
So, and it'd probably be easy to get a hold of who's hosting these events. So maybe then you can kind of cut out do some legwork online versus trying to, hopping over trying to introduce yourself to these people. It's pretty cool.
Yes, and I understand that, but I've been off of Facebook for like 12 years because I always call it drama book. But now I see that I've got to use it. So
yeah,
it's a catch-22. But yeah.
Yeah, the one thing that I always tell people is if you join Facebook for your business, always set up a bogus Facebook account as a back admin, because God forbid you ever get your admin account hacked or banned for some reason, you're locked out of your own business account. My sister had a very successful pizzeria, and like 700,000 followers, and she was hacked out of her Facebook account, personal Facebook account, and she lost her business, and there was nothing that Facebook would do. They had to start a new Facebook account. It sucked.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know if I wanted to do. I think they have the business page now on Facebook and stuff like that. So I've been kind of looking into that. Just been taking it slow, trying to get comfortable using the laser.
Yeah.
You know, like I said today, I figured it out. I was burning some stuff, and next thing I know, it's not burning, and I'm like, "What the heck?" And then I go, "Wait a minute!" And wipe underneath. I said, "Yep, I better take this and clean this baby up."
So how are you liking it? Is there any roadblocks, or you've been doing pretty well?
My biggest roadblocks is that I have no experience with any programs. You know, I mean, I'm not very technologically savvy, shall we say, and you know, designing and stuff like that. So I started using XCS, and then I was asking questions about XCS versus Lightburn, and I believe Steve said that if you're in XCS, you might as well use XCS.
Yeah, well, especially with X-Tool lasers, they support Lightburn, but they don't. Well, Lightburn doesn't support them well,
right.
And XCS just works, and you get to use all the features of the laser too that Lightburn doesn't support. So,
right.
Yeah, so I guess you made some good friends. So you have any problems, you can always give us a holler.
Yeah, someone will answer you.
Yeah. So that's
well,
cool.
You know, it's just you got to have fun in life. So what the heck? That's the idea of the name "Too Old to Do This" is because that's what everybody says. You're too old to do this. You're too old to do this. When you get older, you just keep doing stuff, and they're like, "I guess you're not too old to do this," you know?
Yeah. Well, that's cool. No, man, you start off with some badass equipment. You didn't start off with a 5-watt diode laser, so.
Yeah.
Well, I did jump in with both feet, so. But
yep. Sometimes you got to take a leap of faith, as they say.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
you buy the laser you can afford and hope for the best.
I almost did the CO2, but I was kind of like, well, I don't know. You know, it gets cold up here, and if I'm going to be out in the garage, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to end up pulling this in the wintertime and stuff, but I mean, it's even like we've had some cool weather now, and you know, got down to like 40 degrees last night. So,
yeah, if you do have, I guess this is for anybody, if you do have a CO2 laser and it's in a place that might freeze, run like 30% propylene glycol in the coolant system. Water and propylene glycol.
RV radiator fluid.
Yeah, well, the problem with that stuff is it's not clear, and it can do weird things to the tube because it'll heat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas propylene glycol is clear. It's also not toxic. Like literally, you can take that water mixture out when you want to change the water and dump it out in the ground. It's not going to do anything, right?
Yeah.
Like the propylene glycol is a thing used in food.
Yeah.
That's what I run on my laser.
Back up on one of the questions here about
the
best machine to make money with, whether it be CNC, fiber, 3D printer, or diode laser. Everybody's going to have a different niche. It's whatever you find. My particular order of what makes the most money would be lasers and the 3D printer. And after that is the work we do with sublimation. That's our three biggest things on our craft side.
I would say that it's like saying what's the best car to buy, right? And at the end of the day, it really just depends on your budget.
Well, and your need, right?
Right. Well, your want and your need are two different things, right?
Sure. I want a Ferrari. I want a Ferrari, but I need a Ford pickup truck.
Yeah. I drive a Dodge Ram. I'd rather be driving my Escalade again, but it is what it is, you know. So and you can grow out of a laser and you can grow into a new one, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the right machine is the one you have. Right. If you're buying a very first one, you're gonna probably buy something entry level and
yep.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, propylene glycol and vegetable glycerin are both in vape juice.
Yeah.
So essentially,
what
you're
you put
making
these
your
things.
CO2 vape.
Yeah.
So
But
earlier,
it also has a bonus is it drops the freezing temperature of the liquid down to like minus 15 Celsius or something if you run about 30%, and it's dirt cheap too.
Mine's in a heated basement, so it's not a concern.
Well, yeah, but what if your power goes out and you know your house freezes, right? Well, I mean, you crack the tube in a CO2 laser. Like the tube for my laser is about $500.
Oh yeah. Plus, then if it leaks, it might. Who knows if it does any damage to water? For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, my workshop is heated too. It's always 70 degrees in there in the wintertime, but power does fall, right? And at some point, when you least expected, you're going to get screwed by bad weather.
Now, since we have greenhouses and it'd be an absolute disaster if those froze, we have a generator.
Yeah, I have a generator too, but it actually, my generator doesn't actually power my workshop. It only powers my house.
So Rick, I'm going to take your idea to the next level.
Okay.
And I will try to get a video of this when I do it. Hopefully next week I will be getting to doing them. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it to the observatory at the top of Mount Washington and present it to them, to give them one and say it was your idea.
So what idea is this before I get in trouble?
Your lanterns. your lanterns. Your jack-o'-lanterns.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So hopefully I can get that done next week. If not, it'll be the week after.
Sounds good. What are you going to use?
Next weekend is Labor Day weekend, so not this one coming, but the following one. So it might be
I use cedar fence pickets because they're super, super cheap.
Right.
What do you plan on using?
I was going to do that. And the thing that you did with the burning, it's funny because many years ago we used to burn before they put the siding up. We used to burn the siding and you never had to put a finish on it.
Yeah.
Because the burning sealed the wood.
Right.
Yep. So that's how a number of years ago they used to actually do houses like that.
Yeah. So the stain because I use stain instead of paint, like that transparency from the stain, you can kind of see that design. Right. I really like the way it looks. There's really no wrong way to kind of burn it, right? Just don't burn it, right?
Well, no. No. But like I said, we used to burn them before they put them up. So we used to have a propane tank and had the torch and just burnt away, and then they put them up later on, and away we went. I always had a hose there just in case.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing I noticed is once, and I had two pieces I tried to cut. All of a sudden, I know there was filler, and you saw the way it was coming out. You're like, I just threw it away. But it was only two pieces. I actually saved them. I was going to show them in a video later. And Steve had brought up sometimes, I think in our last live, that sometimes how they use filler in wood.
Yeah.
But I bought hundreds of those, and that's the second time it's happened to me, so I can't complain. And at the end of the day, they're so cheap. If you were to buy that same size board that didn't have that like cove cut, whatever that design is at the top,
dog ears,
3 times the price.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, fence pickets didn't go up. So don't tell nobody.
Well, because no one would buy them if they tripled in cost, right?
In my hometown, at the southern end of the state, where I grew up, there's a fence company there, and that's what they do. They cut their own and everything else. So I'll get my stuff from them, and they won't have the dog ears on them. They'll sell it to me because I know the owner, so I'll get them.
Probably get them a lot cheaper too.
Yeah. Well, I'm not worried about getting cheap. I just don't want the dog ears. I don't use as much as I can.
Yeah, I just put them on a chop saw and I just cut them off.
Yep.
You're only cutting off a ½ inch, quarter inch.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're pretty consistent as far as thickness and width. They're about the same, so you don't have to worry about that. And if you watch my videos, I actually shared all the dimensions.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
So, and if you, I know, I think that was you asking about the files too, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So I said I was gonna originally post them on Etsy, and then I decided that if anyone's a member of my page, and it can even be the cheapest one, which I think is like $2. If anything I do online, I'll just send it to you for free.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I'm new to all this.
No, no, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, you know, I figured instead of charging somebody, you know, something, $2, whatever, then you can have any, and then any of the projects I do, if you want the files, you know, if you're a member, I'll share them.
Okay.
Yeah, so
that's the nice thing about I see a lot of people, you know, different people on like Clack Shack and all of them, and they do share stuff, and everybody shares their thoughts and their ideas, and
yeah.
Clack is a good guy for sure.
Clack is a horrible guy. He's horrible.
Oh, you're testing to see if he's listening?
Clack always listens to our lives, and at any time that we say his name gets brought up, boom, he's in the message. Like, what you talk about? He did that. What you talking about, Willis?
Yeah, like I remember him saying
that wasn't him.
Okay.
Clack is horrible.
So Tinkerverse brings up an interesting challenge here. This is the opposite of freezing, right? That if you live in a place like Florida where it's hot all the time, the P2, the challenge with the X-Tool P2 is it's a closed system, and it can only cool as the outside air, right? So you could actually, it would mean taking that famous back off the laser, but you could probably break the line and run the line through a chiller, like just do a out of the laser through a chiller and back in. It's interesting that even in a place like China, where it gets to be like 50 degrees Celsius in the summertime, they still don't have separate chillers for these.
Because you can't run a chiller.
Well, you'd have to break the line. You'd have to, because it's a very tight loop inside the laser, right?
Yeah,
it's not going to be easy, that's for sure. But if you run, you know, if it's 100 degrees outside and you're running your laser, it's going to be hot, and it's probably going to shorten the life of the tube quite a bit.
Yeah. So the one thing I did do, if you notice though, in these eyes, once in a blue moon, you'll see that. Can you see that here? Oh, wrong one. See that black right there?
Yeah.
So it would have been painted yellow. So I just painted it black. So since you can kind of see that into the eyeball, you see that? You're seeing this. You're seeing this board because it's slightly into the eye cutout.
Yep.
I just painted it with black paint.
Did you know that on Monday we did have a blue moon?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a blue super moon.
Yeah, blue super moon. So
yeah. So
wait, I gotta go back here on a question. Yes, I use distilled water.
Yes, as do I.
So, same with me. Actually, when I first bought the distilled water, it was funny because it was when COVID at its prime, and the only thing I could buy was like the baby water distilled water, which is like 10 times the price. I was like, you know, this is like just like 89 cents a gallon, right?
You can go buy like if you want to use just filtered water, you can buy like the 5-gallon jug, you know, like they put on a water cooler. Most of those, you have to test them, of course, but most of those I've tested down. Most of them are like 0 parts per million of anything solid. So they've got to be distilled.
Yeah.
The P2 is overpriced. I have a mixed feeling about this. It's expensive, there's no question, but it does some things that no other CO2 laser can do.
Okay, can you mention a few?
Well, the multi-point focus is one of them, right? So you can do a CO2 engrave over a curve, and nobody else is doing that.
So what would be the reason you would do that?
Well, let's say you don't have a rotary, or you don't want to go to the trouble of setting it up. You can do. Hey, there's Clack. Every time I see him pop up after you mention his name, it's like I hear the Twilight Zone theme in my head. Yeah, so you know, there's things like like if you wanted to do, because not everything that's curved is round, right? So a rotary isn't going to work for everything.
A good example would be a seashell.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's one place where, again, you have to use XCS. You can't use Lightburn for that, but that's one place where there's a feature that you just don't get on another laser. Is this the Acmer P3, Clack?
Nice one.
Yeah, see? We told you.
Well, see, there you go. Look, you've been in. How long you been doing laser engraving now since you had these the new X tools?
How long have I been doing laser engraving?
Yep.
2 months.
2 months.
Yeah, he's still
2.5
green.
months. 2 months. 2.5 months.
So you don't have a very big box of scraps yet.
Yeah, some people have a laser for 2
yes,
months.
I do, because I have a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, some people have a laser for 2 months. They're intimidated to take it out of the box. So you are definitely ahead of the game. We see that a lot, actually. People saying that they got it and they're so intimidated they haven't even opened it yet. The closed view camera on the P2 also doesn't work in Lightburn.
Yeah, so the P2 has 2 cameras, right? One looks at the whole workspace, and one which is a kind of a traditional Lightburn camera, and then there's a close-up one, and the close-up one doesn't work in Lightburn, but I wouldn't use Lightburn on a P2 anyway.
Yeah. So you 2 months in the business, you already got some great ideas. You're starting to form your niche, and you got 3 friends that can help you out when you get in a pinch. So I think you're doing pretty good.
Well, life doesn't get much better, does it?
And you just have to mention Beetlejuice 3 times, and Clack will show up too. So.
There you go.
Right.
There you go.
And I must admit that I've looked at some of the older videos, and especially the video series that Roger does, and I just kind of go through all that, and I try something, and I give it to somebody in the family or something, but I'm doing something. So the way I'm looking at it is I'm trying to learn one new thing a day.
Anyway.
All I heard was our videos are better than Clack's.
Well, I have to say that now because he hasn't invited me,
right? What do they say? You can only make fun of your friends, right?
That's
not
right.
See, you've done something Clack can't do. He can't seem to show up on for a visit on our channel.
He only text stocks us.
Well, it's you have to watch out because he may be going to try to go fishing and slide into the lake.
He did go fishing. The week we wanted him to show up, he decided fishing was more important. I don't get it, but
he's playing in the background. I got a feeling somebody's watching me.
Let's not talk about scraps. Well, it's the sad reality. So you don't get scraps. What you get is things that you can make smaller stuff with.
Oh, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, well, this is so I do a lot of kind of mixed tools, right? So it's not just lasers, and you start with a big board and you put it on the CNC and you cut something out of it. Now you've got a big board with a hole in it. So you take those little pieces, you cut it in half, and you can make something else out of it. And it keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And when it's down to the end, I throw it in a box and my brother takes it to burn in his fire. So. Yep.
So I remember the first time, man, I can't remember his name. He makes he's like probably 500,000 subscribers. He makes wood smalls.
Yeah.
Anyways, Daniel copied his Christmas tree, kind of like improved upon it. And then I took Daniel's Christmas tree and improved upon it. But the very last cut at the top of the Christmas tree is a 1-inch square. Each side cut at 45 degrees. And I was like, how the hell am I going to keep my fingers? So I bought that special adjustment jig you can put over the table saw and on both sides of the blade.
Like a fancy rip fence, basically.
Yeah.
Like a rip guide. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was fine. Weren't going through them like nothing, but I had to scratch my head a couple of times. Like, how am I not going to cut my fingers off doing this?
Yeah. Usually, when it's a decision between cutting your fingers off or not, that's usually an indication to spend some money. maybe for you it might be a saw stop or something.
Yeah. He said that only 3 people are watching. No, there's actually quite a bit of people, and there's 27 people in it right now. What you have to understand when I don't know exactly how you're watching us, but we're live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook, we're live on Twitter, we're live on, all these.
So this 3 people, it depends which channel you're watching, or if you're watching on Facebook, you'll get a different number.
Right.
It all rolls up by tomorrow afternoon sometime. It'll
Right.
be a few hundred up in the.
Right, and it's kind of pulling all these together. So I'm not sure how you're watching us from what social media platform from whose, but the good thing about StreamYard is it puts it all together.
Yeah, there you go. And when you get to the ultimate small, it's the earrings. And then there's really nothing left. You have a bunch of kindling.
Yeah. So it says exactly, it works out when the grandkids ask me for a key change, their name on it, and their dude, I use scraps.
Yeah.
Honestly, I keep a big box of scraps. And then when it gets like too full, I'm like, all right, what am I going to make with this? And I pull it out and I make something out of it, and then I just put the rest in the burn pile. But generally, I don't keep a whole lot that I don't have using. I pretty much use mostly a lot. I mean, even I'll show you when I cut these down, I rip these down. I use the scraps for this.
Yep.
I could have thrown that away, but
I tend to get careless with scraps a lot, and sometimes I'll throw out some pretty big pieces, and it's usually I only work in like walnut and cherry and maple, right? Like I don't use oak, I don't use any cheap hardwoods, and it's it's money wasted, right? You have to look at it like every box of scraps that goes out the door is a bunch of money wasted.
Yep. Well, guys, looks like we hit our time at 8:30, so it's time to wrap it up. I just want to say thank you for everyone who was able to join us in our live. Thank you for our special guests with us tonight.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I keep my prayers, and I hope that you're very successful in your new business and your new entrepreneurship. Semi-retirement. Only warning that I would have for you is you can ask Roger. A side gig becomes a full-time business.
Yes, it does.
He thought he was retired, and it didn't happen.
I quit my full-time job, and now I work more hours in my shop than I ever did in both jobs. So
there is an old saying: "It's not work if you enjoy it." So
well, that's true. I enjoy waking up in the morning now.
There you go. Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for joining
very much.
Yeah, thanks
for coming. See everybody next week.
Thanks for lurking, Clack.
Yep. All right, Clack. Maybe one of these days you'll get to join us.
Yeah.
Talk to you guys later.
We'll get them someday.
Yeah. Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.